So the next topic is machine learning. How many of you do machine learning? Looks like a small group. So hopefully Dhruv from Reckless Sale will be able to show us some interesting new things. Welcome, Dhruv.
Good morning. Yes, today we're going to learn something about machine learning and Magento in a Magento context. How many of you use machine learning and Magento as of today? Awesome. So we are probably going to help you a little bit more on what we have done using Magento and machine learning. So if you have attended the seminar, the business line of yesterday by Headley of Summit, talking about predictive analytics. So it is more about a general idea on using machine learning and predictions to try to understand customer behavior and things like that. Today, I'm going to bring the same thing, a little bit similar, but in a Magento context. So, about me. I'm Dhruv Boruah. So I'm a co-founder of Reckless.io. I have been working with Magento for the last 6-7 years, a lot with Magento data, and have worked with IBM Siemens before. And when I'm not doing Magento, you can find me driving an ambulance from Madrid to Mongolia, or you can find me training in Solent for my next ocean race from London to Rio de Janeiro next year. Right. So the agenda is pretty straightforward. We'll discuss about your KPIs. Then we'll talk about the goal of this session. And then I'll try to highlight some interesting Magento data that we've used to analyze and to start predicting stuff. And then we will try to build a Magento case out of all this. Then we'll discuss the different tools that we have used to learn. And then we will have a quick demo, followed by the Q&A session. Right. So our KPIs. So basically, as an online retailer, your KPIs lie around, average order value, lifetime value, gross profit margin. You know a lot about sales, returns, shipping going on, if you can fulfill your shipping on time, are you fulfilling your customers' SLAs that you have? Churn rate is big. And you also are talking a lot about abandonment rate. How many cars are getting abandoned? Why is the car getting abandoned? That's one of the hottest topics at this point, I guess. So the question here is, are you asking the right questions to the customer? Are you asking the right questions to the data that you have? So Magento has been around for the last 7 years, and the retailers have been gathering a lot of data, but are you really using the data? How much do you know about your customers using your data? Have you tried getting the data from your shipping providers, trying to put them together, mesh, and try to understand what's going on? Why is your customer churning? Have you tried to understand how the weather is impacting your sales? If it's going to be a snowy weekend, have you tried doing visual merchandising in Magento for more snow-oriented products? Have you tried sending an email for a snow weekend, just before the weekend, or you just start sending bulk emails and hope that it's going to convert? So we have holidays, newsletters, a lot of data. Even death and birth rate we have used to identify a lot of key metrics to analyze the thing. Right, so all of this are very, very important while trying to drive your key KPIs, or average order value, lifetime value. Probably it's really, really important. Right. So a very quick definition of machine learning. According to Wikipedia, it's a branch of artificial intelligence that concerns the construction and study of systems that can learn from data. So in this context, that can learn from your Magento data. Right. So the goal of our session today is how to predict, that you're going to ask me how to predict customer behavior using machine learning in a Magento context. Right. So I'm sure you guys have been working around in Magento for a while, digging into the data, the database, very complicated database. And because of scalability reasons, I'm sure you might be using a lot of truncation in the log tables, the reporting tables, and the code tables, which you think actually impacting your performance. You might want to take a backup, or you might actually truncate every 1 month. But there are a lot of secrets actually lying behind all these tables. For example, there's a table called log visitor online table that gives you an idea of the visitor ID, the type of the visitor, is it a guest, or it's actually a registered customer, IP address from where he's coming from, and you have your customer ID if he's a customer, and the last URL that he has visited. It's amazing. You know what URL they have been visiting in your website, first time, last time, when they came. And then you have your log visitor, where you actually have your visitor ID and the session data. So the session data gives you more information, like what category they have visited just before that, what kind of products they have been visiting. And talking about products, you have a whole lot of tables, like viewed product, which gives you an idea of which customer is actually visiting which product. So maybe I can try to find out, like, this customer is coming at 9 o'clock in the morning, has been visiting a lot of baby products, like might be he has a new baby, you never know. And then you can, for merchandisers, you can find out the products, how many times the product has been viewed, the prices, stuff like that. Might be you do right merchandising for them. Basically trying to understand the customer behavior. And of course, all of this comes into the one and only, the code tables, where you really want to know if this code is going to check out or not. So now with all this data, so the customer has come on a weekend, it's an Easter holiday going on, it's going to be a little bit of snow. So what if we throw in all this data, weather information, foreign exchange rates? I have worked with a couple of clients that have nightmares with foreign exchange rates fluctuating all the time if you're dealing with multi-currencies. And then, you have your promotions going on. Is your customer a discount customer, or is he a full-price customer? So you need to know all that information. And you have all that information in all these tables, pretty obvious. And the newsletters, so how many customers convert from a newsletter? So talking about newsletter, you can actually mash up data from your email provider as well and try to make more sense out of it, and the holiday information. So this is all the data that you have at this point in time, and we're trying to build a Magento case. So a Magento case for this would be a retailer A that's trading in clothing, toys, shoes, and homes, and then we'll try to predict the checkout intention of online customers. So the customers are online, you want to find out if it's going to check out, yes or no. And if it's not going to check out, maybe I'm going to deliver a personalized promotion, like check out in the next, depending. It's basically, the goal is to identify if it's going to check out or not, and the action depends on you, what you're going to do. Maybe you give a promotion for the next time, you can give promotion for the next time to increase your lifetime value, or if you know that the customer is actually buying £100 at this point in time, but the average order value is actually 120, might do some kind of upselling in the products that he has been viewing from the other data that you have already in Magento. Right. So talking about this, to build this case, the tools that we have been using, of course, Magento, MySQL. So MySQL, of course, Magento comes with MySQL, but we also use MySQL to build a slave database. For example, we don't recommend using this kind of data analytics on your production server, so it's a good idea to have a slave database running. So we flatten the data, the Magento data, into a MySQL straight flat tables. Then we put them into MongoDB for quicker processing and data processing, because kind of very, when we're trying to predict when a customer is about to check out, so we really need to be quick at a point. We use Google Compute Engine to do all our computations, and for our predictions, we use we also use weather underground information, so we have all the information based on cities, countries, things like that, time and date for the holiday information. Then we use prediction.io. That's an open source platform for trying to predict. Basically, you train a model and ask him a question, they give you an answer based on what they think is going to happen. We also use Google Prediction API as well. It's a very simple API. So these are the tools we use. So how do you use these tools? So there are two parts to it. One is the Magento extension that resides on your server, and the other one is the scalable infrastructure that you need to have to process these questions. So the Magento extension resides on your server, listens to different kind of events. So if you've attended the headless session yesterday, the whole user journey needs to be tracked to find out which kind of journey, which path is leading to a successful checkout, and which path doesn't lead to a successful checkout. And remember, it's machine learning, so you're learning all the time, so you get better and better. And then the extension also does a delta sync, because you cannot go and sync your 100,000 codes at the same time, so it keeps on doing it different chunks, whatever you think is the best. Then it's also there to process your responses from the prediction server to deliver a customized coupon code or anything, depends on you. Yeah, scalable infrastructure, as I told you, we don't recommend using the production servers to run all your analytics. So basically, you might want to have a slave server, and then we have NoSQL to be able to do some quick processing, and Google and Amazon infrastructure if you are really looking at scalability. So as I told you how we do that, there is a slave database we have. We flatten the database, as I told you before, mash it up to a NoSQL database, and that's the data warehouse you have. If you're using a BI tool like ClickView, Tableau, connect to your data warehouse straight away, and you can actually make sense of it because the data is already flat for you. You don't need to do a lot of joins and EAV, and don't really need to worry about that. And then we do the modeling. So the modeling for the predictive model it relies heavily on your transactional history, your merchandising history, your operational data, and all your marketing data as well. And after you have the model ready, you need to prepare the data for the model. Then you start training. And after you start training, the machine is ready. So now, when a customer is actually there, adding a product to a cart, you can actually have an observer or trigger some event and try to ask the question, is this customer going to check out, yes or no? So basically, it's a prediction. So after the prediction, you have an answer called yes or no. So if it's a yes, you might not want to give a discount coupon because it's going to check out, the customer is going to check out anyway. Or you might want to do something to bring him again next week, give him a promotion code that's valid for the next 1 week. So you might want to increase the lifetime value of the customer straight away. Or an average order value. It depends on the intention. So for here, it's a small example, how it looks like. The output gives you a checkout intent of no, and there's a coupon that gets generated based on, depends on the marketing guys, what they want to decide. And then, yeah. And then so for example, here we give you 20% off, and that's how it goes. So how you build a model? Very, very high-level overview. We have successful checkouts. We take successful checkout data, and we take unsuccessful checkout data as well. Mash them up together, and then we have the training model. And to build these models, we use the date, time, remote IP, base subtotal, so basically all the different variables. So you also try to find the difference as well between when a customer actually started the code and how long does it take for him to check out, so that you can have a fair estimate on what your customers are behaving. This is completely different for different retailers. If you are a high-value retailer, you might have different customer behavior, and if you're a flash sale website, you will have a different customer behavior. Right. Very quick demo right now. Can I get the video, please? Right. So small retailer, there's a customer coming into your website, trying to do a checkout, adds the product to the bag. So now the code is getting created now in Magento. Now the whole goal is to find out if this code is going to check out, yes or no, and take an action after that. So this code is ready, data is in Magento, you have all your sales, the retailer has the sales data, all the codes data, and has built a model already, so all the sales data are here. And then we also have the codes data, it's a small quick SQL query. So you also know how many items were in the code from different historical customers, how long does it take to check out. So we also bring at this point in time other data as well. So after this data, we actually need to train, you need to train. So if you see this is a small PHP code, we use this kind of small fields to actually train the model that you have here, created ad, remote IP, items quantity, things like that. And then there's a cron job that will show up now, a cron job that actually runs to start training. So the training can be incremental training as well. So you have a small cron job that starts the training in the prediction models in the servers that you have here. So it's an incremental training, so you keep on learning all the time, and it's always up to date. So if you see here, if I go to customers now, online customers, you saw the customers trying to do a checkout. You can see already in the online customer list that he's there, he's trying to do a checkout. But if you see, the checkout intent is non-applicable at this point in time because we have not yet queried the predictive API engine to get if it's going to check out yes or no. So now this is actually automatic. So every 5 minutes, you can have your own, whenever you want to run to find out if the customer is going to check out or not. So here, for example, you have a different cron job that runs every 5 minutes to check out how many online customers are going to check out or not. They can be guests as well. So you also have guests as well as registered customers. So here, the cron job has run. So after it is run, if you see here, the checkout intent is no. The whole goal of this case was to find out if the customer is going to check out yes or no. So now it's a no. Now it depends on you guys to decide what to do. It's a no, what to do. It's a yes, what to do. So now, if it's a no, for the specific demo that we have built, we have a promotion code that shows up in the front end in the website, telling that, so yeah, we are going to give you 10% off if you check out now or for the next time. Completely depends on you. 10% off this card amount or in the future cards, whatever. So if you see here, we have a small table where the coupon gets stored. So now, how it gets displayed to the customer? Again, it's an observer. You can have observer anywhere you want. So here, the customer, whenever he adds a new item to the cart, again, you will see the small coupon code showing up there. But thank you for your for your interest and for your intention to buy. So as a token of appreciation, we give you 10% off next time. Now, you cannot, of course, continue giving discounts all the time. So there's a daily threshold that you can set, the kind of budgets that you have based on the marketing teams and stuff like that. So that's all the demo at this point in time. And that's about it from my side. So, yeah. Can I get the slides back, please? Right. So that's about it from my side. Open to any Q&A. Thanks.
So with this prediction algorithms and everything, have you got any numbers on successful KPI increase?
Yes. We are working now with a couple of clients that have a huge lot of codes and data. The success rate usually varies from 60 to 70%. So the thing is we are learning all the time, so we hope it gets better by the time we have. So I'm not talking about big data because we don't have a lot of data. We only deal with 500,000 rows at this point in time, but once you have more data, it will get better and better. But the thing is, you need to constantly evolve your model as well. So this is a very, very, like we have this model, but you need to keep on adding more matrices and adding more fields. That way your accuracy will keep on increasing.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Hello.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any performance influence on Magento due to your extension?
Not really. I'll tell you why. Because the extension that's there is basically an observer that you have here. It doesn't really impact it doesn't do any data processing in your production server because we have already delta incremented, delta copied the data over to our servers that we have for NoSQL MongoDB, so it doesn't have any performance influence. But yeah, there's an observer that runs at checkout level. So if but it doesn't take a lot of performance issues. But it depends on how you do that. Yeah, there's an observer at this point in time that runs. Might not be a promotion. It can also be a different code, like, for example, reminding customers that you want to go about your return policy. So it's not necessarily a promotion code. You can have any kind of action you want to take. So yeah. Actually, we have the code also in GitHub if you want to download and have a look. Yes.
There's a lot of plugin services like Nosto, Predictive Intent, and things like that, which people can have out the box. How do the results for this method compare to those?
Well, I don't really know about the plugins, but there are other companies who do this kind of analytics. A big company called Granify does it really well, talks the same thing, but they do not actually use external data. They don't use weather information. They don't use holiday information. They don't use census data. So they don't use foreign exchange data. So merchandisers love it when the finance guys, when I show them how much they're losing in the foreign exchange fluctuations, how much it's impacting their bottom line every day, and they can accordingly go and change the foreign exchange rates. So this external data are not being used by all the other plugins that you have. And plus, our plugin is very lightweight at this point in time. And we use existing Magento data that already Magento is capturing. That's it. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks.
Thank you, Dhruv.